Kuntuzangpo is often depicted in tantric art as a handsome, athletic male about 16 years of age, naked and comprised of non-graspable blue light, the color of the cloudless azure sky, tantalizing in its beauty. His name translates into All Good One, or Samantabhadra in Sanskrit. And this name infers that our karmic purification, no less our spiritual maturation, is as close as passively noticing during our inhalation and actively relaxing and thus mentally letting go during each exhalation. Especially when this is so mastered that we are able to practice it spontaneously and habitually and easily and effectively. His partner is called Kuntuzangpo, which I am told is merely the female version of his name and is Samantabhadri in Sanskrit. Her body is comprised of white, non-graspable light, the color of a brilliant white, fluffy cloud. Kuntuzangpo and Kuntuzangpo sporting in tantric union is known as Kuntuzangpo Yab Yum, or the All Good One, Father and Mother. I often abbreviate Kuntuzangpo Yabyum to merely Yabyum in the contemplative notation found in my guided meditations. And this Kuntuzangpo Yabyum is a Yadam. Yadam is a Tibetan translation of the two Sanskrit words Devi, which is male, and Deva, which is female. The literal translation is deity, or object of worship. This could really open a can of worms. Are we meant to use these terms literally or figuratively? About 9 centuries ago, the Tibetan teacher Geshe Chekawa wrote 7-point mind training, where he cautioned his readers, do not bring a god down to a demon. Remember, in Buddha's first lesson, he taught that stress comes from the tyranny of our physical craving and our mental clinging. If we beseech real or imagined gods to fulfill our wishes, all we will accomplish is to further entrench ourselves in the harmful habit of indulging those physical cravings and mental clingings. But what if we did not treat real or imagined yadams that way? What if we treated them as a rich source of 8 similes and metaphors with which we could blend the 4 bases of mindfulness with the cultivation of love and the wisdom of letting go? From the tantric point of view, the 4 bases of mindfulness could be our circumstance, and our body, and our communication, and our mind. If we pretend that Kuntuzangpo Yabyum live in a real or imagined paradise or pure land, which is Vati in Sanskrit, we could use it as a tool to increase our compassion by wishing that all circumstances be as fortunate as their pure land. By pretending that Kuntuzangpo Yabyum's Pure Land was comprised only of lights, we could train in the wisdom of letting go by contemplating how each circumstance could be as non-graspable as their Pure Land of light. Why go to all the bother of messing around with metaphor when they could often be fertile ground for great confusion? Because, from the point of view of evolutionary biology, that part of our brain that perceives and emotes is much older than the part of our brain that reasons and uses language. And by using imagery, we are communicating with that old part of our underbrain that evolved to feel and taste and smell and hear and see and emote. By imagining that Kuntuzangpo's and Kuntuzangmo's bodies are healthy and blissful, we could cultivate compassion merely by wishing that all bodies be as blissful as Yabyum. By imagining that their bodies are comprised merely of light, we could train in the wisdom of letting go. By skillfully contemplating how each body could be as non-graspable as Yabyum of light. By pretending that mantra could induce peace, we could train in compassion. By wishing that all communication could be as peaceful as mantra. By imagining that the mantra was comprised of light, we could train in the wisdom of letting go. By skillfully contemplating how all communication could be as non-graspable as mantra of light. Just as we imagined that the environment of Kuntuzangpo Yabyum was a paradise or a pure land, how their bodies were blissful and healthy and beautiful, and their speech was peaceful mantra, we could also imagine that their minds were symbolized by a sky blue syllable hum, which is a seed recitation, or bija mantra if you prefer Sanskrit. Thus, we could train in compassion by wishing that each mind be as joyful as seed hum. And we could train in the wisdom of letting go by skillfully contemplating how each mind could be as non-graspable as seed hung of light. Thus, from the highest perspective of Tantra, we do not view real or imagined entities as great celestial Santa Clauses come to fulfill our wishes, but rather as a font of 8 similes that help us train in love and letting go. Those are the 8 similes that are common to all yidams. Let's conclude with the 5 similes unique to Kuntuzangpo Yabyum. First, their nudity reminds us that mindfulness must be vulnerable if it is to be effective. Second, their bodies, comprised of light, remind us both of the folly of grasping and the wisdom of letting go. Third, their beauty reminds us of the transformative effect that comes from indulging our loving tendencies. Fourth, the stability with which blue Kuntuzangpo sits reminds us of the centering that comes from marrying awareness with inhalation, and that serves as an antidote to scatteredness. And fifth, the abandon with which white Kuntuzangpo sports with her tantric partner reminds us of the centered spontaneity with which we could approach life, and which also serves as an antidote to our tendencies toward contrivance and being controlling. These 8 general similes and 5 specific similes have the potential to transform every facet of our existence. All we have to do is put them into action.